Hi everyone, my name is Austin, and a couple of years ago, I did a video talking about Cartoon Network TV shows that deserve a complete series, DVD, or Blu-ray release. Since that video has come out, at least 2 of those shows got said complete series, DVD, or Blu-ray release. In this case, DVD, and in this case, it was shows such as Ed, Edd and Eddy and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Now, with Ed, Edd and Eddy, it doesn't have everything. It doesn't have the specials that came out along with the actual movie, but it does have most of the episodes, so hey, it's a step in the right direction. Same with Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends getting a complete series release. Step in the right direction. So the rest of the series have yet to be given a complete series DVD or Blu-ray release, even though Cartoon Network's 30th anniversary was literally just last year. But I'm guessing due to the Warner Bros. Discovery merger, and it probably put a big old kibosh on all of those plans. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get them this year, maybe we'll get them next year, maybe we'll get them by 2033. And by this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing this video or if I'm going to be working at McDonald's. I hope I'm doing this stuff. This is more fun than working at McDonald's. I'd rather come as a customer than actually work there. But that's just me. Anyway, in that video I talked about shows that deserve a complete series DVD or Blu-ray release, and I also completely went an unhinged rant against Fox News. Briefly, though. It didn't go all out throughout the whole video. So for this video, I will not be complaining against Fox News because I want to try to keep some members of the audience in here, even if I don't agree with their politics. But instead, I will talk about other shows that deserve a complete series, DVD, or Blu-ray release. Not just Cartoon Network shows, but shows like from, say, Nickelodeon, Disney, or whatever. These shows either probably have been stuck on VHS, they're incomplete on DVD, or they have not been issued on DVD or Blu-ray at all. So maybe this will give them a chance to give them a complete series release, and maybe bring some new life into these series. So with this, these are my TV shows that deserve a complete series, DVD, or Blu-ray release. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy it. And hopefully I won't go on an unhinged rant against Rupert Murdoch's big money-making machine.
Look at this loser. Look at this big, fat, pathetic loser as attempts to criticize me solely on something that happened years ago. Well, I say to you, sir, Mr. Austin McGregor, you and Jon Stewart have shows that suck because you are pathetic liberal scum. And both your shows suck. My show is better than yours, and your show sucks.
Son of a...
When I did my video on Cartoon Network shows that deserve a complete series, DVD, and or Blu-ray release, chances are I was bound to forget a couple of titles. While I did mention shows such as Chowder and We Bare Bears as shows I didn't put on the list, chances are there were some of you that were like, yo, what about Time Squad? Or, hey, you forgot about Class of 3000? Or, whatever happened to Robot Jones? You forgot about Robot Jones, stupid? Or, where the hell are the Life and Times of Juniper Lee? Responses like those. But one show I definitely should have put on the list is another Cartoon Network classic, and that show is Cow and Chicken. Created by David Feiss, the show centered on, well, Cow and Chicken, a sibling duo who from day to day end up in all sorts of bizarre, unusual, and insane scenarios, often perpetuated by the red guy. Take a good guess as to who he represents, who either attempts to pull an Intellivision Amico on them, or tries to drag them to hell. This show is hilarious, having the type of humor often found in shows like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life, great performances from Charlie Adler, and is something that could only come out of the late 90s, feeling like the perfect companion to a lot of Cartoon Network classics that we all know and love. Sadly, this series has probably been done the most dirty when it comes to DVD releases, with Australia getting the whole series and the US getting jack squat, only getting a VHS release and some episodes appearing on Cartoon Network compilation DVDs, and that's it. No complete series and set releases, no volume sets.
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
This series is long overdue for a complete series DVD and or Blu-ray release. It deserves it for how much joy it brings me and other people. I'm calling on either Warner Brothers Home Entertainment or Shout Factory to give us this complete series release, complete with interviews with Charlie Adler and creator David Weiss, the band episode Buffalo Gals in its uncut glory, and an art book, because art books are cool. While you're at it, maybe also give I Am Weasel the same treatment, maybe even bundle with cow and chicken. And we can all get some pork butts and taters like it's 1997. Do you want to know who's the second laziest company when it comes to home video releases aside from Cartoon Network? Because Disney is exactly that. Despite having a huge library of shows under their belt, whether we talk in Disney Afternoon, Disney Channel, or the various shows that the House of Mouse owns through their many acquisitions, Disney has very few series available in complete series form, or just complete as in all the seasons are available on either DVD or Blu-ray. There are many examples, some of which may show up in this video, but for right now, let's start with a series Disney actually produced. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Possible. Created by Bob Shuley and Mark McCorkle, both of whom did some work on Sky High, the series followed our girl, Kim Possible, a teenager who does two things, fighting crime and dealing with high school drama. Aided by her friends Ron Southwell, who becomes her boyfriend, Rufus, his pet naked mole rat, and Wade, a 10-year-old computer genius, Kim takes on many missions, accompanied by Ron and his clumsiness, usually taking on the mad scientist Dr. Draken and his assistant Shigo, amongst an entire barrage of different villains. Equipped with a healthy dose of action, comedy, and some great animation, Kim Possible was a hit, managing to become one of Disney's top-rated and most popular series, even spawning 2 made-for-TV films, toys, and video games. While there were plenty of DVDs made for the series, including 2 complete series releases, they're not the whole series, and Season 4 doesn't have any DVDs for it. So this is my proposition to Disney. Please release these series on DVD and or Blu-ray, preferably both formats, include the 2 movies, add in lots of extras, and give us some of the other series that may be shown in this video. And we'll be happier than a bunch of stoned college students when they hear the phrase, "Free beer!" If you don't do it yourself, then do what you did with Gravity Falls, and license it out to Shout Factory. It worked the first time, so continue the partnership. And to everyone else, it'll also help us forget that the 2019 Disney Channel original movie adaptation ever happened, because Kim Possible is baseball, and A League of Our Own has taught us one thing.
There's no crying! There's no crying in baseball!
When it comes to Nickelodeon's track record for complete series home video releases, this is how those go. Animated series, pretty good ratio all things considered. Live action series though, I'm gonna need some answers for those.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
While some shows like Hey Dude have managed to avoid this curse, everything else isn't so lucky, especially when it comes to certain other shows created by the creator, to quote Jeanette McCurdy. One show I feel deserves the complete series treatment just so happens to be one of my all-time favorites, and a show that helped me get through the 6th grade. So put your hands together and get ready for Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide! Created by Scott Fellows, a writer for The Fairly Odd Parents and creator of Big Time Rush, and Johnny Test. Yeah, his live action shows tend to be better than the cartoons he actually creates, rather than ones he writes for. The show centered on Ned Bigby, who alongside his friends Jennifer Mose Mosley and Simon Nelson Cook, aka Cookie, find ways to attempt to survive their time at James K. Polk Middle School, during which Ned creates a guide to help us survive middle school, which certainly helped me, as without it, I wouldn't have my sense of humor. This series is great. with fun characters, some truly laugh-out-loud moments, and even some good tips for dealing with middle school. Nancy Classified School Survival Guide is an excellent series, and a must-watch for any Nickelodeon fan. That is, if you can find a way to watch it, as it's only available on digital marketplaces and streaming services like Paramount+. And the series only ever got one DVD here in the US with the series finale, with other episodes being found on NickPic's compilation DVDs. Meanwhile in Canada, our boys in the Great White North, they got seasons 1 and 2 on DVD over there. Dirty bastards, you get everything. Free healthcare, maple syrup, Tim Hortons, you get all the nice stuff. What do you give us in return? Justin Bieber! Jerks! Getting aside, Season 3 was going to get a release in Canada, but that release has pretty much since been cancelled, and the previous DVDs have since gone out of print. I hope that Paramount Home Entertainment gives this show a complete series release, or as I've said before, licenses it out to Shout Factory and let them release it because Shout Factory does their home video releases right, and they could even include some extras. Maybe even a full-on documentary with interviews with Devin Werkheiser, Lindsay Shaw, Daniel Curtis-Lee, Jim J. Bullock, Darren Norris, creator Scott Fellows, among others. They could even do the same for Big Time Rush, which is also pretty good. When it comes to animated superhero shows, the 90s had plenty of them, and they were pretty rad, with Batman the Animated Series and the X-Men Animated Series being some of the most prominent examples of classic animated series. And one other example is Spider-Man, or Spider-Man the Animated Series if you want to call it. A show that, alongside those other shows I just mentioned, made sure Fox Kids was the best thing the 90s had in store. The premise was quite simple. Peter Parker attempts to balance both his personal life and his crime-fighting career as Spider-Man, all while being a student at Empire State University, nothing more, nothing less. Filled with great animation, excellent writing, a stellar voice cast, and a rockin' theme courtesy of Aerosmith's Joe Perry, Spider-Man was an awesome series, and one I remember watching a lot of in reruns back during the days of Jetix. Unfortunately, as is the case with some other Spider-Man animated series, most of the DVDs in the US have mostly been volume sets that contain 4 to 5 episodes each, mostly for certain story arcs, and has never seen a complete series released here. Meanwhile, the UK, Sweden, and Germany, because much like Canada, they get all the good stuff, they have gotten the whole series there. And the only thing we've been able to do is find bootlegs of the series from flea markets and websites that make them just for fans. Given how popular Spider-Man is, I feel that giving this series a complete series release is long overdue, because at least with the X-Men animated series, it's all available on DVD, even if it's separate volumes as opposed to a complete set. Give this show that complete series treatment, Disney. Same goes for this one, too. And now we go back before Spider-Man TAS. Now we have Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which aired on NBC from 1981 to 1983, and is almost a companion to the series that just had Spider-Man, and aired from 1981 to 1982, another series that could use a complete series home video release. The premise for the former series was very simple. Spider-Man and his companions Iceman and Firestar fight crime while being students at Empire State University. This series was pretty fun, with the right amount of camp and silliness to make it unforgettable, especially when I was watching it back on good old Jetix back in the day. Plus, it also introduced Firestar to the masses, being created specifically for the show, even though the Human Torch was going to be in the series, but licensing issues put a kibosh on those plans. And Frank Welker voices Iceman. Can't go wrong there. Sadly, while Spider-Man TAS got some DVDs, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends got nothing. At least in the US. The UK did get a complete series release though, and they even did the same for Spider-Man in 1981. Although for Spider-Man's Amazing Friends, which had narrations performed by the late Stan Lee, only Season 3 had them, while Seasons 1 and 2 did not. And if there's anything we've learned, never leave out Stan the Man. So yeah, give this show the complete series treatment here in the US. Complete with those narrations, the episode The Quest of the Red Skull, which is not on Disney Plus due to it featuring a certain mustachioed dictator, a symbol that needs a line through it, and the uttering of a truly scary phrase.
Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil nothing!
And interviews with Dan Gilvasan, who voiced the role Cruller, Frank Welker, and Kathy Garver, the voice of Firestar. A show so obscure I didn't even know it existed, Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog was a fantasy adventure series produced by Saban, and was essentially an attempt at non-Japanese special effects series, as opposed to adapting it from Japanese tokusatsu. Taking from Irish folklore, the plot centered on Rohan, a druid's apprentice who goes on a search for the prophesized hero Dragnata alongside his friend Angus, later joined by a prince named Ivar and a princess named Deirdre, the daughter of King Conchobar, who required their help in defeating the evil Queen Maeve, who wants to conquer the Kingdom of Kells. I'll be honest with you, I have never seen this series before in my life. In fact, it wasn't until I saw this toy here that made me want to know what it was from and who the character was. Turns out the character was Lugad, one of the villains in the series who later turned good, and it was a McDonald's toy made to promote the series. It only lasted one season though, and its proposed second season, Mystic Knights Battle Thunder, was cancelled in order to make way for Power Rangers Lost Galaxy and the English dub for Digimon Season 1. Regardless, I do feel it deserves that complete series treatment that most of the Saban shows have gotten, as Mystic Knights has only ever gotten one VHS release in the US, and the only DVDs available are in Germany. So yeah, give this show the complete series treatment, and maybe include some behind the scenes stuff to get more insight into what happened to the series. Another staple of Jetix, this time produced in-house with Disney, Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go was the first original show produced for the Jetix block and the various other channels around the world. Set on the fictional planet of Shugazoom, the series followed the adventures of 5 cybernetic monkeys and a human boy named Shiro as they fight to defend their planet against all evil forces, mostly from the Skeleton King and various other villains. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen this show in a long time. But considering it had a voice cast that included Greg Sipes, Corey Feldman, Kevin Michael Richardson, Tom Kenny, Kerry Walgren, Clancy Brown, Ashley Johnson, Mark Hamill, James Hong, and Hayden Walsh, an anime-esque art style, and an influence of Star Trek, Super Sentai, which was what Power Rangers was adapted from, Voltron, and Star Wars, it definitely was very memorable during the Jetix days of old. Sadly, low merchandise sales led to its cancellation in 2006, leaving the show on a cliffhanger that only time will tell if it gets resolved. Speaking of merchandise, that's where these shows' DVDs come in. As some DVDs were produced, often packaged with toys, they usually came with one episode each, meaning not a lot of episodes are available for viewing on these. Other than that, no individual season sets or volumes were issued, meaning those DVDs are the only pieces of home physical media that the show is available on. So yeah, this show deserves a complete series release on home video, not just on DVD but also on Blu-ray, as it was actually produced in HD, and those Blu-rays would in all honesty look fantastic if done well. With any luck, It could even warrant interest from Disney in reviving the series to wrap up the cliffhanger and give us closure to the story. I don't think I need to talk about how successful the SMURFS was, what it was about, or even how significant it was. So instead, I'll just play a clip from Tommy Boy to get the point across.
Hey, boys and girls, it's Papa Smurf!
As for my thoughts, I like it. I don't love it, but I can watch it anytime it's on and I'll have fun with it, even if I much rather prefer the Snorks instead. What I can tell you is that when it comes to home video releases, it's a frickin' mess. With US being incomplete, with only episodes from the first 2 seasons and the specials being released here, the UK only having seasons 1 through 5, and Germany having the whole series for some reason. To whoever's in charge of these home video releases, get your Scheissmeister together, quit sniffing your own farts, and put this whole damn series onto DVD and possibly Blu-ray, complete with a full-on documentary about the show and the history of the Smurfs, an art book, and a poster. If there's any licensing issues, sort it out, stop being a bitch about it. We want to watch the series, and we want it on home video. Here's something that will appeal to my former girlfriend Denise, and to one of Ash's best friends, Ochaka Uwaraka. Clarissa explains it all. Insert your applause here. Created by Mitchell Kriegman, the show centered around Clarissa Darling, a smart and sassy girl who deals with all of the goings-on in her life, usually addressing the audience Ferris Bueller style. A staple of Snick, Clarissa Explains It All aired from 1991 to 1994, and between this and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, helped cement Melissa Joan Hart as one of the big teen stars of the 1990s. As for home video releases, Season 1 got released, but Season 2's ended up getting the shaft, and there's currently no plans to put the whole series onto DVD and or Blu-ray at this point in time. So to Paramount Home Entertainment, please give us this complete series release, complete with interviews with the whole cast and crew, some outtakes if they exist, and maybe some potential commentaries for certain episodes. And as if it wasn't clear enough, say it with me people, let Shout Factory handle it! Given their track record with all the other Nickelodeon series you've allowed them to release. Phineas and Ferb. The mere mention of the show was enough to warrant a bunch of weirdos to gather around the tri-state area and start singing Geechee Geechee Goo, and then finishing it with some guy in a lab coat exclaiming, "'Cause you be the platypus!" Trust me, I live with 12 of them. But anyway, created by Jeff Swampy Marsh and Dan Povenmire, the series centered on Phineas Flynn and Ferb Fletcher, 2 stepbrothers who spend their time trying to make their summer vacation consistently fun, so that way it isn't just one fun moment or a select few fun moments, and it doesn't just prematurely come before it gets interesting, not unlike my best friend's bachelor party. These usually involve elaborate, larger-than-life, and too dangerous for kids to handle in real-life construction projects, which often causes Phineas' older sister Candace to try to catch the boys in the act, usually failing due to certain circumstances. While all these shenanigans happen, Perry, the boys' pet platypus, functions as a secret agent for an all-animal government organization called the OUTCA, or Organization Without a Cool Acronym, usually fighting Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz in pretty much every episode. These plots usually converge when Doofenshmirtz's plot is foiled and Phineas and Ferb's invention is destroyed by whatever invention the Mad Doctor concocted for the episode. The show was a huge hit, spawning 2 movies, crossovers, video games, and even a revival consisting of 2 seasons, coming soon. Personally for me though, I sort of dropped off the series after a while, mostly for how it never seemed to end, despite several signs that pointed to a fulfilling conclusion. I didn't hate the series, mind you, far from it. It was genuinely entertaining and the songs were pretty catchy. It just felt like every time I thought the series was going to end, it didn't. And it kept going on, seemingly longer than what I had believed. But as time has gone on, and probably because the show in fact did end, at least until the 40 extra episodes announcement came out, I've grown to appreciate it even more than when I had originally seen it. In fact, I actually rather love the series and am glad the show did reach its conclusion, because I'm curious to see where it goes next given the new episodes currently on the horizon. As for DVDs, there are plenty of them, but they're not exactly what you'd call a complete series or complete season, set. Usually including selected episodes, and if you're thinking there's a Blu-ray out there, the only one you're gonna find is on the PlayStation 3 version of Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension, and it's on the game disc as opposed to an individual Blu-ray that has 4 episodes on there. Yes, you heard me right. 4. So yeah, this series could really go for that complete series treatment, whether it be right now or after the 2 seasons have aired. Phineas and Ferb could definitely use one, complete commentaries, interviews, deleted scenes, an art book that doubles as an episode guide, a soundtrack CD or vinyl with all the songs in there, I should say, Perry casually sitting on my toilet, Mel Jesus and Jules Conroy performing Kick It Up a Notch with Slash, Huey Lewis in the News covering the Phineas and Ferb theme song, and a shoehorn.
Shoehorn? Why don't you give me a foot rub while you're down there? Oh, right in me shamrocks! What?
Okay, I think I might have gone a little ridiculous there, but you get my point. As I conclude this video, and you're writing every show that I forgot to include in this video, it is important to remember that while these shows didn't make the cut, they will not be forgotten by yours truly. Whether those shows are Adam, which, the Incredible Hulk animated series, Kenan and Kel, Megas XLR, Generator Rex, Uncle Grandpa, and Shout Factory releases of The Fairly OddParents and Nickelodeon's Doug, as well as Disney's Doug, just to be merciful, even though Nickelodeon does what Disney don't. They may have only been mentioned here, but they are still worthy of a complete series release, especially from Shout Factory.
And so, these are my picks for TV series that deserve a complete series, DVD, and or Blu-ray release. But these are just my personal picks. I would like to know what your picks are for TV series that deserve a complete series, DVD, and or Blu-ray release. Because chances are I might have left off your favorite show of all time, or several shows that deserve that complete series treatment. Trust me, there are plenty of those out there. And so with that, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and if you like more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications. And so, with that, I will catch you later. I'll see you next time.